Hi everyone, welcome to Sage's Garage. Welcome to today's episode. I am super duper excited. We have lots going on. I have a couple more things to do to prepare for testing out the 1300 engine I have. So I need to put in new oil. I got 1040. I will show you which one I got. I also got some new gloves and I got some gas in case we actually get to start it up. I also got my block back. A neighbor of ours who is a farmer welds a lot of stuff, so he offered to help and weld it. Unfortunately, it didn't go perfectly and the crack has actually now migrated a lot, and it's also gone to the inside of the block now, whereas before it was just on the exterior of the block. We have been told by a machine shop that we can grind it down and epoxy it, so we will look into that, but for now I am putting the 1500 engine on hold, so I'm not too worried about it, but let me give you a look. Here's what the newly welded part on my block looks like and where the crack was. I'm really gonna zoom you guys in. As you can see, there is now a crack running all down here. You can see it kind of goes all the way around, and then the crack goes downwards, and then it also goes up all the way. But it now is also on the inside, so I'm gonna take you around here. Here's the inside of the block, and as you can see, it did crack all the way this way. It's cracked up a little bit here, and then it goes all the way along. It goes down a little bit, and then it goes up, and it's cracked in several places. So, like I said, this is gonna be put on hold for a while. Who knows if we're going to try and save it, but that will be for a very, very later mission. Now that you guys have seen the block, we need to prepare for tomorrow, which is testing out the 1300. I need to put new oil in the engine. I need to look through the old oil to see if there was any metal bits in it. I need to figure out what parts I need to get it going tomorrow if we're able to, and then I need to clean off all those areas that those parts would go. So clearly we have a lot to do. Let's get started. I wanted to show you guys, this is the oil I got. It is the Castrol GTX. It says helps extend engine life, superior sludge protection, and it says SAE 10W40 motor oil, and it's the 5-liter jug. Now, I think everybody has a different opinion on which oil is best and which one they like to use. I was told by some people to definitely use synthetic, and I was told by some other people definitely do not use synthetic. Some people I think wanted the one that starts with a 5, and some people said this one. So, like I said, I do have somebody coming over to help me out, so I've decided I'm gonna go with their best recommendation, and this is the oil that they wanted me to get. So I totally understand if you have other opinions. I'm just gonna go with this one because that was what I was told to grab, so I'm gonna listen. The first thing we're gonna do is look through the old oil that I took out a couple days ago, and we're gonna see if there's any metal filings or anything suspicious in there. It looks very smooth right now, so that's good. But I've got this mini strainer, and I'm just gonna go to the bottom. I mean, it sounds like there's stuff, but the thing wasn't very clean. And we're just gonna kind of see if there's anything left over. I don't see anything yet. Oh, there's a big chunk. Do you guys see that? There's a big gloopy. Like, there sounds like stuff, but the bottom of this bin you guys saw was not very clean either. Looks like it's just thick. That stuff is too thick to go through the strainer. But I don't see anything scary. All right, guys. I think that looks good. I think we are good to go to put new oil in it. Before we can put the oil in, there are a few things I need to address. First of all, in my video from last week, I said that I had tightened this oil gallery plug as much as I could, but that it wasn't all the way and the threads were still out. We ended up finding a spanner that I should have used the other day, but I couldn't find it at the time. And so we were able to tighten it all the way, so now we're not worried about oil coming out. The second thing is, tomorrow I'm going to be connecting my distributor, my starter, and my carburetor, and so before I can do that, I want to clean up the areas so that they can actually properly attach, because these surfaces are really, really dirty. I did stuff a paper towel in here just so that when I'm cleaning, nothing falls into the engine, because that wouldn't be good. I'm just going to use this little flathead screwdriver and just kind of scrape away any bits that I can. Like, there's still some gasket right there, and there's a whole gasket on here actually. We just couldn't even see it. So anyways, I'm gonna take off these bolts and go ahead and do that. Just enough so that I could mount everything properly tomorrow. Here is where my starter motor is gonna go, but I'm not gonna assemble it tonight because I don't have any assembly lubricant or anything like that, and I don't wanna mess with the gears. So I'm just gonna leave it like this, and then I'll get some help assembling everything tomorrow. I've got the new oil here, and I am now going to do the oil change. So I'm gonna start by taking off this oil filler cap. Okay, and now I have a funnel here that's gonna help me hopefully not spill everything everywhere. Got it there, it's on a bit of an angle, but it seems like it's good to go. Now I don't know how much I need to put in here, so I'm just gonna do a bit and then we'll check the dipstick and see how it looks. This is a clear liquid, which seems very odd. I don't know if it looks very clear. Yeah, it's clear. Seems weird to me, I don't know. All right, we're gonna test it out. You guys won't see me. You can't see the brand or anything. Yeah, it's clear. That's very interesting. So I'm gonna put a good amount because I know that that bucket was very full of oil. So I'm gonna put a bunch and then we will check it. Alrighty. You know what? I'm gonna pan up so you guys can see this color because it's very interesting. This way you guys can see that it's clear. I don't know, or it's not clear. It's like a yellowish, but it is clear. Okay, I think that's a lot. Wait, how are you gonna be able to see in the dipstick? I guess just that it's wet, but not by color. Very odd. Okay, I'm gonna pop this lid on so I don't spill any, and I'm going to go ahead and check that dipstick. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put the dipstick in. I feel like I'm still gonna need a lot more, but figure I might as well check. Okay, oh, there's some dark liquid just at the very bottom. So it looks like I'm gonna need to put a lot more. So I feel like I'm gonna need to put the whole bottle, based on how little that was covered. But let's try it out. I'm just gonna go ahead and put some more in. I didn't realize it's only supposed to be between those two first lines, whereas mine was super full. Of course, tomorrow before we actually do anything, I'm gonna have my friends that are coming to help me check it out, just to make sure that I put the right amount of oil so I don't mess anything up. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and check this out. So I guess that's where it's supposed to be. So I'm just gonna leave it like this for now. We have a lot of extra, and then we'll see tomorrow if I need to add any more. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and clean off this funnel and put that filler cap back on. I had to take a little sunset appreciation intermission because it is so beautiful here. The first step is to take this manifold off of the carburetor because I'm going to need to put the carburetor on tomorrow, but there's already a manifold on the 1300 and we didn't take it off of the 1500 because this little bracket piece was stuck, so we just left it. But basically, I found a spanner that will fit. And before I do that, I need to take off this hose pump, and the clamp was already loose enough so I can just slide that right off. These are the bolts that I need to get to, and so I have a spanner here that will fit. I'm gonna get in here and loosen this nut until it comes off. Don't wanna lose them. There they are, okay. So I've got the carburetor like this now. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my starter and my distributor so that we're all ready to go. Good morning, everybody. It is the next day, and it is a very exciting day because we are going to see if the 1300 turns over and if we can get it going. But before we can do that, I'm gonna clean off these parts like I said last night. So I have some paper towels here, and I also have this flathead screwdriver, and I'm just gonna kind of go along as I did yesterday and try and get the gunk off of these. distributor is all good, so now I'm gonna move on to the starter. The starter is all clean now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray some of this white lithium grease on it. All right, that's as good as I can get it. And then on the distributor, I already put some WD-40. I sprayed it on and then I just wiped it down. The first step we're going to do is this fan cools down the engine. When the crankshaft spins, it also spins, but we don't really want that spinning and hitting us and getting in our way. And it's also extremely loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by taking this belt off. I'm just gonna put it to the side for now because we're not running it for too long. We don't need to worry about cooling it down. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just loosen these bolts and I'm gonna take off the whole thing. Okay, so the dilemma now is that it's actually rusted together and the stud is spinning. The nut actually isn't spinning on its own. So I'm gonna get something to spray on there and we'll figure that out. I will get this off in a moment, but I'm actually gonna go ahead and take these little wood blocks or spacers out of here. They were just making sure that no gunk got into the engine, but now we want them out of our way. The next thing I wanted to mention is that we're gonna be putting the carburetor onto here. I figured out it actually does fit. Whatever I was measuring the other day was not right. I don't know what I was measuring, but my carburetor actually does fit. The only thing is that these studs are really long for it. So part of the section that doesn't have thread still shows, but I have a pretty big gasket from the other carburetor that I'm gonna be able to pop on here and that will accommodate for the extra space that I needed to take up. Okay, so the stud was spinning on this, but I was told honestly it's just gonna be fine. So that'll come out on its own. But this guy, I just loosened up as much as I could. Oh, and there goes the nut. And I've got the washer here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and pop this off, and there we go, everybody. Okay, now my camera doesn't want to focus on it because these are here, but here is where my distributor is gonna go, and I have this gasket that's gonna create that extra spacing that I need that I was telling you about. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these nuts and washers off. And then I'm just going to place this here and screw them back on. All right, and there we go. Okay guys, so the first thing I'm gonna do is just take my spark plugs out. And in my last video, I showed that I took these out and I sprayed a bunch of WD-40 on them because if there was any rust on the top of the cylinders, I wouldn't wanna crack the top of the piston ring. So I made sure that those are all nice and loosened. And then I wanted to show you that this nut right here to turn the crankshaft is actually really nice and new looking and we don't want to damage it, but unfortunately I don't have the right size socket. So what we're going to do is we are going to use a pipe wrench, but we are going to be extremely careful, and I am going to put a really thick rag on top so that we don't damage it at all. But unfortunately that's the only way we're going to be able to get it to turn over. I'm going to gently put this rag here and then I'm just going to get this ready to go. I'm not going to do it yet, but just so we are ready to go. And the next step is to see if it turns over. We're just gonna see if this goes, everybody. Okay, I see that wheel spinning over there. Looks like it's spinning. Awesome. We're gonna see if it goes the other way. Looks good, I don't know.
You just gotta go slow, back and forth, because what you're doing is you're using the ring.
Okay.
You're using the ring to come up and trying to clean the cylinder wall but you don't want to go too much and get it jammed and break it.
That makes sense, got it.
Because it's only going to be scale rust, like surface rust, right?
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's good to know that they filled it with that much oil too.
That's why the WD-40 is in there, because it's going to loosen it up, right?
Okay.
It's not going to it's not going to take it away. It's going to loosen it up. We're using the top of the piston ring.
Okay.
As like a chisel.
Yeah, to get off the surface
Get
rust.
it off.
That makes sense. And I'm so curious how many years this thing was sitting for.
That's
Because it
why
was
we-
for sure years.
You never
Like, I
know.
wish I knew so I could
That's
be like,
why we're doing it this way.
you know?
Instead of tearing it all apart, right?
Yeah.
Just need to find out where 0 is.
Oh, okay. This is that little circle?
This one. See the longer one?
Oh, okay. So that's where the things are supposed to be?
See all these marks?
Yeah.
And then you got a longer one, and then longer one, then the other ones are shorter.
Okay.
That's your 0.
Okay, interesting. So that's where you want the timing chain line to be at?
That's where I want to start.
Oh, that makes total sense. That's
Now
very
I wanna
interesting to
make
learn. Okay, so we turned it over by hand. It did 4 rotations and it was all good. We got the piston to the top and there was no hard spots and it looks like it was all good to go. So the next step is attaching the starter and then we're gonna check the compression. I'm going to hook up the starter now. I'm going to pop it in here and I'm gonna try and line up these guys. There's one. And there is the other. I'm just gonna go washer and then put the nut on and we should be all good to go. We accidentally put the starter on the wrong way, so we just flipped it and reattached it, but also we had some paper towel in here, but then we left it in while we were turning it over, and unfortunately we got a bunch stuck in there. Can't see it right now, but so we are gonna try and just use some needle nose pliers and get it out of there. We're just gonna hook up the battery now to the starter and see if we can get this thing going. Whoa. Oh my god, it's spinning. That's so cool. Okay, so we tried to plug in the battery and attach it all, and even though we had our battery plugged in for literally ever, unfortunately I think it's been sitting too long and it just does not have enough juice in it to get it going. So here it is, and it's just not gonna work out with this battery, so I think we're gonna either get a new battery or try and charge this up really quickly, but unfortunately, that's just what happened. Holy moly!
Nice.
That's awesome.
We're high in the courses here. Cool.
That's so exciting.
Now,
Woo. Oh,
push
see,
up.
I let it go.
that's fine, but you hear that?
That was when the air was
Gotta use your
coming.
muscles.
Sorry.
Now here, you got 90 pounds of compression,
Okay.
okay? Which isn't bad.
No, it's on the back.
Now, people are gonna comment on 90 pounds of compression saying it's not gonna run right.
Okay.
Do not listen to them.
Okay. You heard it here, folks.
Okay, good.
All right.
Let off, let me see.
Everybody, let's look at it. Okay. Same.
You're not,
So,
you're
the compression is about 90.
a little over, huh?
But-
Almost.
Oh yeah, true. It's almost at 100. So, pretty good. Pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's number 1.
It's rolling your finger, right? The third one.
We got one dead one.
Is it the second or is it the third? I don't know which way we count from. Third
The
one,
third one's always the one that goes.
which is
right?
always the one that goes in these cards.
Hear that?
Nothing.
A little lighter.
There's nothing on the third one.
Nothing.
Oh my god, there's nothing on the third one. And I've read in comments before that the third one is the one that always goes on these cars, and that's what went in my engine.
So now we know
So-
why to replace this one.
Wow.
Right now, okay, we don't know what's there, exactly what's wrong with it. It's been over nicely. But
Okay.
there is a couple tricks that I know that I've done before without tearing it apart.
It's funny. You're
Your
talking about the
exhaust
exhaust.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
So-
your exhaust port's all good.
Going out there? A lot?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the whole thing came out. Yeah, it all came out.
Here, I'll spray in.
I'm gonna tell you something. If they come out the exhaust, your piston might not be bad. You might have a stuck valve.
Oh.
And if you got a stuck,
Okay.
if you got a stuck valve, they open
Then
and
it's
close,
not
right?
good. Yeah.
Okay? Then that,
So the air might be.
that's where you're getting no compression because yours come right out of the exhaust.
Okay, so can you?
We're spraying rust off into the third cylinder. That's the one that we don't have any compression in. And when we do, you can see that the mist is totally coming out of this exhaust manifold. So that might mean that we have a stuck valve, and that's what's causing us to not have any compression, which means we may be in luck and our piston may not be damaged. We will see. Okay guys, to figure out what's going on, we want to get the valves accessible. So I'm gonna just go ahead and take off the rocker cover. So we just pulled the rocker cover off, and you can immediately see this push rod just isn't connected. So I think if we're lucky, we can just connect it, but I don't know the details or the seriousness, but hopefully that's all that this is. But we could literally pull it right out, which we don't want. So I want to show you guys, these ones are higher, and you can see they're all higher, but then these two are lower, which means that they're stuck. So I think we're gonna go in there just with a rubber mallet, see if we can loosen them up. And we're gonna put this down
you want me to
into
hold that
place.
on there so that if you tap it?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. We got one up, everybody.
What do you think? That's a compression stroke. That's why that's down.
Okay.
Compression stroke.
And that's your new xylophone.
Awesome. We got the battery hooked back up, and we're gonna see if we can get these valves moving at all.
No?
That one's not going.
Oh.
Oh.
Squeak.
Okay. Oh, no, that one isn't going. No, that one's not moving at all. That's the only one that's not moving.
So look, the spring is not releasing.
That's fine.
So
Hang on. That's fine. A little bit of dirt, a little bit of crap on it.
because that's the thing is if it's just this thing
Should I-
is like
okay, we're gonna-
seized, because that's what forces it back, right?
Oh, did it go? I heard a little ping.
Yeah.
Oh my god, awesome. Okay, it's
So the thing is, we're just kind of working it back to life. To see if
okay,
it'll
everybody.
loosen itself up.
Right.
Yep, they both went.
Right, but we're gonna see
Okay,
if when it
goes back down.
if the spring is sticking.
Yeah. So it likes to be stuck in the lower position. But it moves now, it's just stiff. Should we spray something on it maybe?
Okay, so if you look at it too, it's off center from this thing.
That's fine.
Should I show
It's
that?
still hitting, but it's not
No,
totally not in the center of it.
That's fine. That's fine. It's just a spring. It's just a spring. But what we're doing now is we're just taking out, because there could be a little bit of scale rust on it.
Okay.
And what it does, it binds up. That's why you just don't. That's all it is. See that?
Okay, yeah, I saw it
Yeah,
shimmy
center.
over a little bit.
Back to center. See, that's what these springs are for.
Yeah.
They
Awesome.
center themselves.
Okay.
They're self-centering.
Oh my god. Okay, it went both ways. Oh, I saw that. The spring
So,
release.
so could it be the valve just sticking in the
Oh,
valve
sorry.
guide?
You
Is that
okay?
what you're thinking?
Yeah. It went up, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
Did it actually?
It went out by itself. So let's. There you go.
Woo! Slay.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Give it a cycle if we can keep it on the stand.
We're gonna test the compression on the third one now that we got the valves loosened, and we're gonna see what it's at. Put up, so.
90.
Oh, it's 90.
But you wasn't held properly.
Yeah, so should I?
You're good.
Sorry.
We're good.
We've hooked up the carburetor as well as the distributor, and we got the number one bit that goes to the spark plug. We lined it up so that it's top dead center and so that it matches with this number one guy here. But this is where this notch is for the timing chain, and it should be here at 0. So my timing is way off, but we can deal with that after. I just wanted to show you guys that we did line it up with the number one here. So I showed you guys we put the distributor on here, but we also grabbed the coil from my car so that we could connect the battery. So we have the battery here and we have some wires, so we're gonna connect everything up. The next thing we're gonna do is put the rocker cover on, but without a gasket, just so that we can lower this and it can hold on so this whole engine doesn't jiggle, but we don't need a gasket because we're not attaching it permanently. Okay, everybody, we've got everything kind of plugged in, connected here. We're gonna see if we can get a spark. Oh my God, I saw a spark on that side. Oh, I saw that go. We were trying to get a connection, but we weren't able to, so we're just sanding down some of the metal parts to make sure that there's no rust or gunk blocking them, and hopefully we can get it going after that to get a spark. So what we did is we sanded a bunch of stuff down, and we actually tightened that little bit on the battery there to make sure that we have a really strong connection. So fingers crossed this time we can get a spark. We still weren't getting a spark, so we took off the distributor cap and we did an adjustment for the points. Basically, we loosened the little screw in here and then we made a little gap in between these bits and then we tightened it again. So now there's space. So now it might work better. Fingers crossed. The points got really hot, so we think that's maybe why they're not making a connection. So we sanded it down a little bit and I think we're gonna put some electrical tape on this wire and hope that we can get a spark. So we're just testing out with a voltage meter different points in the distributor what the voltage is.
15 volts.
So right here it's 15, but then we move it.
We get there to the spring.
Mm-hmm.
We get 15.9.
Yep.
Then where we want the end, we were supposed to get 15. We
As
get
well.
4.
We get 4.
Because it got hot, it melted into the plastic, and we lost all full contact.
Okay.
We're only getting probably about 10%, 15% of contact, not 100%. So our voltage drops from the 15 in to the 15
to like
that's supposed
4
to go to the condenser.
Okay, so if anything, I just need to get new points.
Just new points, maybe a condenser too.
Maybe a condenser too. Okay, and then hopefully we can get it going. This is the points, and we took it out because I am gonna need to get a new one. You can see how all the plastic has melted here. So that's why we aren't able to make an 100% connection. So I'm gonna get some new ones of these and also probably the condenser. I've got the rotor button here and the condenser, and I'm also gonna find replacements for these. Okay guys, we got so much done today and I am really, really excited about the next few steps. I'm so thankful to have had some helping hands today. I couldn't have done any of this without them. We did have a couple setbacks, but you know what? You can't learn without some setbacks. So I'm still super happy and motivated. Basically, the next steps are I need to get new points and I need to get a new condenser, but then we should be able to have electrical current and it should be all good. We know that it turns over now. We know that we can get it running. So I think the next few steps are we're gonna take the transmission off of here. We're gonna attach this whole engine into my car to my existing transmission, and then we're gonna get it running in the car. We know that it's gonna work as soon as we get that electrical current, so we don't need to test it on the block and then test it in the car. We might as well, since we're trying to get ready for September 17th, I think we're just gonna take out the transmission, put the engine in the car, and get it going in there with the new parts. So there's going to be so much content in the next few weeks. I'm super, super excited. And yeah, I am just so glad everything we got done today, and now we can really get everything moving forward. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you next week. Bye!